Hey guys, and welcome back to Fringe Friday. As always, I am Carmen, and today we are watching season 3, episode 15 of Fringe, which I know I say this every single episode, but it's just insane to me. I feel like it was so recent that we watched the pilot, but it actually was not. Anyway, last week on Fringe, we finally got what I think most, if not all of us, have been waiting for since season 1, and that was Peter and Olivia kissing. I mean, technically, this is not their first kiss. They did kiss in the other world, but they kind of, what is the word? Elevated their relationship further than that, and I hope that they're actually going to give it a real shot, and I hope that so badly that they get a happily ever after. Obviously, we have, unbeknownst to Peter and Olivia, everything that's happening with faux Olivia in World B. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my voice today. But yeah, we have all of that going on. But I'm going to focus on the happiness of Peter and Olivia because who knows how long Fringe will let me have it. So I'm going to soak it in. I'm just going to soak it in. Aside from that, we also had Walter sort of grappling with himself and his choices and what he should do, and realizing that him and Walternate, much to his chagrin, might be a lot more similar than they are different, and kind of really struggling with that and taking solace in Nina Sharp, and hopefully they can figure out something different than what Walternate figured out. He didn't have Nina Sharp. He didn't have massive dynamic. I mean, he had plenty of funding, but not massive dynamic. So we'll see what new hopeful cure that will create. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling at you guys. I am so excited. I hope that we get some cute, happy Peter and Olivia, Polivia, as you guys have informed me that the ship name is called. Thank you for answering, by the way. I hope we get cuteness of it in this episode. Let's just watch and find out. Raiden Lake? Why are we at Raiden Lake? Okay, this is a flashback.
Peter!
Oh, is this when Walternate gets home? Oh no. I don't want to see this. Maybe it's not? What does it say? Forgive me or something like that? I am going home. What the hell is going on?
No! Peter, no, please! No! Peter, please! Oh, God, please!
Is this our Peter? Is this once he came over to our side? Oh, little child, you don't really understand. You would just die. You guys, we're finally getting the answers to, one, I love the retro intro, sorry. But we're finally getting the answers to, how Peter didn't remember, because it seems that he, did remember.
Okay, children, let's begin. That's it.
This is a full flashback of the song.
Do anywhere you want to go.
Olivia.
Excuse me, Dr. Bishop, your wife is on the phone.
Tell her I'll call her back.
No, I don't think she'll accept that.
Is it Thursday, Miss Ashley? Isn't Thursday early day this week?
I wonder if Peter and Olivia are gonna meet when they're kids and, not remember. She doesn't want to go home early.
Where is he?
Okay, I'm just making sure he told him.
Of course the Dodgers play for Los Angeles.
No, they don't. I've never had a baseball mitt before.
Peter,
Never.
you were very sick for a very long time. It must have confused you, mixed up your memories, son.
Do not call me that.
Hey, hey.
I am not your son.
Hey.
You are not my
Hey.
father, and she is not my mother.
This is kind of horrible because, like, they're kind of gaslighting him. I mean, like, they, like, fully are. But, like, I just feel bad for them as well.
He's asleep.
Does he... Walter must do something to make him forget. You think?
We can't keep this up.
What's the alternative? Tell him the truth. He'd be locked up. His lies were supposed to be a temporary measure. We were supposed to have him home well before it got this far.
It's been 6 months, Walter.
Getting him back wasn't as simple as I hoped.
They were gonna take him back?
The texture of the universe is changed from my crossing. It cannot withstand any more damage.
Neither can he, Walter. He is in such distress. I'm his mother, but no matter what I say,
Elizabeth,
he just
Elizabeth, you are not his mother.
I won't keep lying to him like this. I can't keep him safe if he doesn't trust me.
Please, just a little more time. Children should be able to cross over. And when they do, they can take Peter safely home with them.
This is interesting. So, he's not able to get him back home. Is that why he keeps him? The last flashback, it seemed like she was like, no, we're keeping him. But now it seems like more complicated than that.
Damn it, Olivia. When
Sure.
I say go to bed,
Asshole stepfather.
don't you run from me!
She's going to bed!
Get your butt back in!
Did she just jump? Because she was scared, right?
Never run from me!
Was she in the other world? Because it sounded like a blimp.
You really think I don't know that you're not my mother?
Please, can we just...
You think I can't tell?
He's so much like adult Peter.
I told you the name of your hamster. I told you
You
where we
got
went.
some wrong.
Yes, and maybe that's because you were confused, because you were so ill.
He makes you say that, doesn't he? Because he's the one who stole me.
Oh, poor Peter.
I know that I sound crazy, but I'm not. I'm not crazy.
He really isn't. The poor thing.
Let's just get out of the house today, baby, okay? Let's just get some air.
I love that we're addressing the fact that he wouldn't just think it was the same. Like, I love this. I love this. I love this. This was my question for so long. Like, how did he just forget all of that?
What's Olivia doing inside?
Well, she didn't have a very good night either.
Yeah, her stepdad's a abusive asshole. Did he hit her? I mean, I knew he was, but
What happened to your eye?
let's kill him.
Ashley said that you told her that you fell.
Running in my house.
You know, it's not true.
Olive, you can trust me. If someone is hurting
I said I fell, okay? That's all.
Poor baby Olivia.
Olive, why did you draw this?
Because she crossed over.
Did you see it in a book? Where then?
She crossed over.
Was it last night? When you fell?
Hopefully he doesn't realize that fear is a trigger, though, and then try to
The tulips don't usually grow in areas like this.
make her scared.
The professor who was working here missed them, so he imagined a tulip that would grow in this climate, and he invented it.
A white tulip.
How would you change the world if you could, Peter? What would you wish for?
That's interesting. He'd go back home, probably.
I'd go home.
Literally watching that right now. It's fun.
Oh, that's a strange game. What's that called?
It's called Joust.
She's not really letting him wander too far, is she? I know she's trying to, like, bond, right? But maybe the leash is a bit too small. He likes planes. Does he know plane? Do they have planes, or do they just have blimps?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Now, we need to design a series of experiments around emotional flexibility.
Hey. I want to show Peter where he worked.
Look! They're sort of
Hey,
meeting.
Peter! Hey, ho! Look at that airplane. That's,
He's more interested in Olivia. That's so cute.
Listen, Peter, I was about to go and get a snack. Would you like to come with me and get something?
Cute.
William, I need your help. I have reason to believe Subject 13
That's Olivia.
may need to be in some kind of heightened emotional state to access her ability.
Can we not traumatize her more? Is this how the fire starts?
The fire of the dragon. A minimal response to joy.
You gotta stop now.
Not yet, dear. You need to keep going.
Aw. They're gonna find out that fear is the most, the biggest response, right?
Look at each piece carefully. No, you'll have to start again. Come on.
It doesn't fit, Dr.
Try it.
Walter.
So they're gonna try anger. This is anger, right?
That's wrong. Concentrate, Olivia.
I'm not working on this anymore.
Anger isn't the answer.
Fear. I don't like the idea of them. I mean, I don't like the idea of this at all, but like purposefully traumatizing these kids.
Perhaps fear. It started to occur to me, William, that fear by itself wasn't the answer.
No, they're gonna do something to Nick. She has to be scared for somebody else. Because that's who she is.
Walter? Let me out! Please let me out!
Has to be like really afraid.
Who's there? Is someone there?
Is it the fire? Is that what happened?
Thank you. Dr. Bishop.
Yeah.
But I'm still missing something.
Dr. Bishop, we have another problem. He's got your backpack on, okay?
Is it his wife? Or is it parents wanting their kids to not be in this program anymore?
One of the children have gone missing. A girl, Olivia Dunham.
Is Peter gonna find her? You guys, my heart. Her stepdad. The white tulips. Did she go to the field of the white tulips?
This little girl, Olivia, Walter says that you think her stepfather's hitting her.
Yeah, he's not doing anything about it.
I believe the ideal environment for transition across universes may be a return to her home. The unique combination of love and terror there apparently stimulates a cortical reaction.
And if she is not allowed to return to her home,
You mean to be terrorized again?
then it
Surely there's got to be some other way.
She's in love.
is not about you and me and Peter anymore. And if we don't return him, they'll figure it out and they'll come after him. After us, I know, because that's what I would do.
So you would sacrifice one for the other? This little girl, Olivia, for Peter?
No. But for thousands of others, or millions, it would have to be considered.
You can't keep drinking yourself into oblivion.
Should I give up on my son? The way the police seem to have.
This episode, they're really trying to get me in my feels, huh?
The man who took my son, you said he was wearing a beige sweater. Not a suit like I would wear.
Walter, please don't do this.
Lisa, I have a new theory. Plastic surgery.
He doesn't know about the other world yet.
Something happened in this house, and we have to go over it until we find out what we're missing.
God, and how will this time be any different?
I don't know yet. We have to go over it.
I have, Walter, I've thought back. I've gone over it again and again.
It was you. It was you.
But there has to be something we've overlooked. There has to be an explanation.
You fly to Florida every Monday. You work all week, and then you come back, and we do this. This is not a marriage anymore. It's a routine.
More time. He's my boy. Can't lose him.
Poor Walter. Maybe this time he figured out what happened. It's just so sad because, like, obviously I love Walter and I love Peter, but, like, Walternate is Walter. And he loved Peter.
I know I can't keep doing this.
What does that mean, though?
It's impossible. Impossible. He's gone.
I know. I spend every waking moment imagining where he is. And I pray that wherever he is, he's safe.
He is.
That someone's taking good care of him.
They are.
And that someday, by some miracle, I'll get to see him again.
Well,
Till that miracle happens, I can't break our marriage. That this is breaking us. And I can't let that happen.
most marriages don't survive losing a child.
I've lost Peter. I can't bear to lose you too.
Sad. So sad.
No go to work tomorrow. Stay home this week. Let's put our marriage back together.
He'll probably go to work. Although, I don't know. It's alternate, not Walter, so. Did he go to work? Bishop dynamic. He went to work.
Morning, Dr. Bishop.
The Observer. Is this little Peter and a little Olivia?
Hi.
I knew it.
Hi. How'd you find me? I guess tulips don't normally grow around here. How'd you know I'd come here? Because it's the only drawing that looked happy.
My heart.
My name's Peter. Mine's Olivia. Don't. Be careful.
She's scared.
I'm not scared. What happened? My stepdad did it.
She told him the truth.
I messed up. Now he's gonna send me home. Did you tell him? Walter, I mean, about your stepdad hitting you? I don't think he'd do anything. My mom was telling me, you gotta imagine how you want things to be. And then you can try and change them.
Interesting. He thought and then he chose the words, my mom.
Do you trust him? Walter, you should tell him.
He knows.
You gotta try something. I think I cooled off by now.
That's so cute.
Did you imagine that?
It's so cute. My heart.
They're back.
Peter! Oh, God.
They're just like two damaged kids who bonded. God. I don't know why it gets me. I mean, I know why. Because of future them. But...
Okay, your stepfather's on his way. Olivia, sweetie, we were all so worried about you. What were you thinking?
I want to see Dr. Walter.
She's gonna...
Tomorrow, but your stepfather
No!
doesn't-
I have to see him now.
Olivia, you can't see him now, okay? He's...
Olivia, you... My stepfather did this. He hits me. That's when I crossed over to the other universe. Look. That's where I saw the blimps. Just like you said. They were in the sky in the other universe. Can you make him stop hitting me? Please.
No! Can we do this?
Olive? Baby, this is what's wrong.
She crossed over? Oh, she told the other Walter, didn't she? Oh, that breaks my heart, though. Oh my gosh. Fuck you. I hope you get hit by a fucking bus.
I'm sorry, Dr. Bishop. I hope our little princess hasn't caused you too much trouble.
Shut the fuck up.
Come on, Olivia. I've been worried sick. Let's get you home.
You know the truth, Walter.
Before you go,
Even if she didn't tell you.
I want you to understand that this girl is very special to me. And if anything harmful should happen to her, anything to frighten her or make her uncomfortable in the least, I will not hesitate to inform social services. I have certain government friends who can ensure that you will be facing significant troubles for yourself.
Thank you, Walter.
You go home and get some rest, huh? And we'll see if we can figure out a new way tomorrow.
Fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking dick. Don't touch her. Yeah, get your fucking hands off her, you little bitch.
I'm never going back, am I?
Peter, breaking my heart too. God. Did he like just suppress his memories to cope?
Sometimes the world we have is not the world we want. But we have our hearts and our imaginations to make the best of it. I will promise you this. I will be the best mother I possibly can be to you. I will protect you, and I'll never let anyone take you away from me.
But you're not her. Are you? You're not my real mother.
Wonder what she'll say.
You were very sick for a long, long time, and I think it confused you.
She's gaslighting him, okay.
I am your mother, of course I am.
Path of least resistance.
You go off and wash your hands for dinner, okay?
I don't know why that upsets me so much.
Okay.
He knows it's not the truth. I think. This fucking episode gets me. She feels guilty, but like she also loves him because he's almost her son. This is what changed her, having to lie to him. Right? It's what ultimately led her to do what she does later. The guilt. God. I wanted these answers, but I don't know that I wanted these answers.
Elizabeth, it's me.
He figured out what
I
happened.
know where our son is.
Yeah.
I know where Peter was taken.
Yeah, she did cross over. Oh, that's how he figured it out. It makes sense. Oh, I might need to take a second to collect myself after all this, you guys. So I've somewhat, very slightly collected myself. Probably will still cry when talking about certain things just because I think that it's a lot. But I really love these flashback episodes. I love how they sort of orient us in time and space and like give us more information on just things that I think that probably all of us have been really questioning and wondering since the beginning of the show, right? Like when we first found out that Peter was from the other world, or when, you know, I first started piecing it together and then the show revealed that that was in fact the case, I was like, okay, but did he just suppress those memories because they were like traumatic for him? Like, how did he not know that he was from the other world? Because there are enough differences that you would know, like your parents are a little bit different, like the world's a little bit different. And yeah, so this episode, we finally get the answer to that. And I don't know that I expected it to be so emotional, but it was. The answer is essentially, yes, Peter did suppress those memories because they were traumatic, which makes total sense because that's just a natural thing that happens to people when they go through traumatic events, especially in childhood. You often, well, in any time of your life, but you often do suppress those memories because it's just your brain's way of coping with what happened to you, right? Of course, for little Peter, it didn't help that he was being gaslighted by Walter and Elizabeth into thinking that everything that seemed a little bit different about this world was just him being sick and not remembering correctly, right? I'm not 100% convinced that Peter ultimately decided they were right. I think that Peter sort of chose the path of least resistance, right? He's like, in order to exist in the world that I'm in now and that I am stuck in because I can't get back to my world, I need to believe this, right? And so I think slowly over time, he probably just convinced himself enough into believing it that he could sort of accept and forget that the other world had ever existed. Again, it's a coping mechanism that our brain helpfully helps us with to keep going after something like that happens. I mean, obviously, not something quite as extensive as that, but when you go through a traumatic event, your brain tries to help you cope with it. And so him telling his brain that that's what happened, eventually his brain is gonna accept that that's what happened. It's heartbreaking to see that like certain things that we thought like are slightly different, right? Sorry, I don't know why I'm crying, but like seeing them cope with having taken Peter, and they did intend to take him back, right? They initially just intended to save him, and then almost by accident, they didn't have a way to take him back, and so they ended up keeping him. And I don't know, you guys, it's to see, like, we know what happened to Peter's mom later because, Peter told us in the past, but to see, like, how it started, that she was just so ridden with guilt over what had happened and that she couldn't cope with having to lie to Peter for his whole life, sorry. But it just hits me. It's like such sad and good storytelling, right? Because she lost her son, who she loved so much, and it was like her son, and she kind of accidentally got another son that's very similar to hers, but not exactly. And she has to raise him and love him like her son, but lie to him and know that she can never actually take him home to his parents, who she knows firsthand, like, are devastated at losing him. And like, it's such it's such a good story, but it's so like, it just hits you in the feels. And like, damn, Fringe is good at that. Like, I had no idea when I started watching this show that I would be so attached to even characters that we barely know, like the mom. We haven't seen her very much, but you just feel for her, in both universes. Like, when alternate Elizabeth is talking to Walternate, and he's falling apart because he doesn't know what happened to Peter, and he doesn't know how to figure out what happened until Olivia crosses over later. But when they're having that conversation and she's saying, like, we have to stay together, we have to be strong, and like, because one day maybe we'll get to see Peter again, and like, he would need that from us. And me because she does see him again. He's an adult, you know, and like she does get to meet him. And then she loses him again, which just like, it really gets me. It affects me a lot. And I think that the way that they tell the story of these two sets of parents who are so similar and in very similar situations, and the way that they coped with dealing with the death or loss of their son is it's so human. Like, a lot of marriages don't survive losing a child because, or even partnerships, not everybody who has kids are married, but like it's a very difficult thing. Like, I couldn't even imagine, you know. So I like the way that they portray it. Like, it feels very real, like you would drown in your grief. And it's the parallels of like Elizabeth drowning in her grief over lying to Peter and keeping him and not being able to return him to his home and make him happy and his parents happy. Like, the parallel of that to Walter Dent grieving his son, right? And just being lost and not knowing how to cope with it it's just, it's a really beautiful parallel in a really tragic sort of way, right? Like, the thing that caused Walter Dent to stop drinking, the hope, the realization of like where his son is and the hope that he could see him again is the thing, and like what caused Elizabeth to start drinking sort of being that same thing, right? Like, she knows where Peter is, but she can't take him back, and she has to lie to him, and like, it's just a really sad story, you know? Like, it's there's nobody that you don't feel bad for and that you can't see the perspective of, right? Because like, we love Walter and we love Peter and we love Walter and Peter, so we are slightly biased towards Walter, right? Like, we can't help it. The show has shown us his perspective for 3.5 seasons and how much he loves Peter. But in this episode, we really saw like, there's not a side that you can choose, you know, because obviously now, so far in the future, after so many years have passed and Peter has known Walter as his dad, like, we want, and Olivia as, you know, the love of his life, we want Peter to stay in this world. We want, like, this is the world that we know. This is the family that we understand. This is the dynamic that we kind of signed up for in the beginning of the show. But to see like Walternate and alternate Elizabeth just struggling with the loss of their son, like, that's not fair either, you know? Like, of course they should get their son back. Of course they shouldn't have to lose their son and suffer either, because like, they complicate who you're supposed to root for. And I think that that's a really interesting, I just think it's great writing, right? It's great storytelling, that they can make you almost root for Walternate, you know? Like, obviously I'm not fully rooting for Walternate, but like, I'm like, is there any way that I can share? Like, you know, like, Peter can like get to know his mom and like Walternate more, like his family, but like, I'm just a mess, you guys. Oh, you guys know that family dynamic episodes, they get to me. So to sort of move on from that whole Walter Elizabeth alternate Elizabeth for a second, it was really interesting to see Olivia in this episode, like baby Olivia. I will say I'm a little confused. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that they said that Olivia was like 3, like she was very, very young in Jacksonville when these tests were taking place, like not old enough to understand or articulate, or, I mean, 3-year-olds can understand some things and articulate some things, but you know what I mean. So maybe I got my timeline wrong, or the show changed it a little bit. I'm not really sure. Sorry. So yeah, if someone could maybe clarify that for me in the comments down below. Maybe I'm just remembering it incorrectly. But I really enjoyed seeing Olivia. I did not enjoy seeing her fucking asshole of a stepfather who I know that she eventually shoots, and then he like sends her cards and under the fucking door and shit, like a piece of fucking shit he is. I do think that this is the first time that we've actually got confirmation that he was abusive to her as well. We knew that he was abusive to the mom. Olivia told Peter that in season 1, but I don't think that she ever confirmed that he was in fact abusive to her as well, which I suspected, but the confirmation very much makes me want to punch him right in the fucking face. Like, oh, sorry. I was getting real angry. But like, what a piece of shit. Like, that is a literal child. Like, okay, yeah, you can punch a fucking child. It's a fucking child. Like, he deserves he deserves a lot of really bad things. Like, if I could give him those things. I know he's fictional, but he deserved Olivia shooting him, and he deserved to die when it happened. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I appreciated Walter's journey of realizing that he should do the right thing in regards to the Olivia and her stepfather situation, right? Obviously, he knew, like, he sussed out what was going on, and he was going to use that to further his experiments. And I'm really, really glad that his wife talked to him, and he realized that that's fucked up, and like, this is a child that's suffering. You can't be a party to that suffering. You have to try to help, you know? And so I was really worried that Walter wasn't going to do anything. And when Peter told Olivia, like, you have to trust, sorry, it's just so relevant to her now too, but like, you have to trust somebody, and then she trusted Walter, accidentally Walternet, you know, because her fear made her cross over, and so she told Walternet the stuff that she was trying to tell Walter. But then Walter actually did what he was supposed to do and like helped her. Like, that made my heart happy. And I think that we're seeing like Walter grow in real time, and that's a good thing. That's only ever a good thing, to see him grow and stuff. And I mean, obviously, I don't think that what he said worked. You know, abusers don't necessarily work that way, but maybe it did. At some point, Olivia's going to shoot him, hopefully in the very near future, and then they'll sort of be free of him, right? So at least there's that. It's also good to finally get the story behind the fire, to see Olivia and little Nick interacting, to there's just so much in this episode that I need to talk about, but like, I don't want to ramble on it, you guys, for fucking ever. It's good to see Olivia and sort of see that she was the same person that she is now when she was a kid. Like, obviously that's when you're developing the person that you're gonna become, but her instinct for like loving people and being there for them and everything is obviously already there when she was a kid. Sorry, I don't know what I was trying to say. I also cannot believe that Peter and Olivia actually met when they were kids. Like, they're just two like kind of messed up kids who've been through some shit, and they're like bonding, and I don't know why. Like, I just think it's so cute that they like met then and then fell in love later, and soulmates. IMO. My only question regarding them having met, knowing that they were definitely old enough to like remember, like, why they don't remember meeting, like why Olivia didn't remember Walter. Like, I just wonder what happened to Olivia post all of that she wouldn't remember. Like, when I thought that she was like 3 years old, I'm like, yeah, of course she's not gonna remember. That's like buried somewhere in her subconscious or whatever. But knowing that she was definitely old enough to remember, and she didn't seem too traumatized at the time. Like, I don't know if like when they disbanded the experiment at some point that they did something to make them forget, but yeah, a little confused about that aspect of it. There's probably a lot more that I want to discuss that I forgot to write down, so I'm forgetting to talk about. But I will leave you guys with that. If there's a bunch that I forgot to say, I'll try to say it at some future point. But I really, really loved this episode. I loved to see the family dynamics. I loved to see little Peter's personality on display because it's so much like Peter that we know now. Like his determination to get back home, his like insistence that like he knows what's going on. Like he's right, but it's also just it was good casting, I think, because I think that little kid portrays Peter in a way that like, yeah, that feels like Peter, you know? Like that feels like a tiny version of the Peter that we now know. Just like the little girl Olivia feels like a tiny version of the Olivia that we now know. And I don't know how you guys feel. I'm sure that everybody loved this episode because it was incredible. But I am a sucker for a flashback episode. Like, I love the context. Like, give me the childhood trauma, right? Like, give me the traumatic events. Give me all of the, like, little information so that I can, you know, further overthink and psychoanalyze these characters like crazy because I just enjoy it. I don't know. Anyway, I am going to stop rambling at you for real this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already. You can also watch the next episode right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is over on Patreon, which is linked in the description down below, as well as my entire full-length reaction to every single episode that I have watched thus far of Fringe. Yeah, I didn't get cute adult Peter and Olivia, but I got cute kid Peter and Olivia, so I'm kind of okay with it. Anyway, I hope to see you guys next week for more Fringe.